Well, hi again. Thanks to all of you who've stayed on since our marketplace orientation, and welcome to all of you joining us for our 2025 Atlanta Pride Parade orientation. Just to reintroduce myself, my name is Chris McCain. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm Executive Director of Atlanta Pride. I'm pleased to be here with several members of our staff, board, and our committee chairs. Just want to recognize a few people so you know some faces and names. Ashley Botsis, our administrative coordinator, is right up here in the front. In the back is Stephen Igarashi, our Director of Communications and Community Engagement. Caleb Solberg, our Community Engagement Coordinator, I believe is out front at registration. You checked in with him when you arrived. Also from our board is our board chair, Brian DeCero, right back here at the computer. And here in the front row is Glenn Paul Friedman, our government affairs chair. And let's see, and we also still have the marketplace team with us. They'll be around later if any of you have additional questions about marketplace, load in, load out, or logistics. They'll be around after the parade orientation to answer any follow-up questions. And I think that's it. So I just want to go over a few housekeeping things again that I shared in the first orientation. Please be sure to check in out front if you didn't do so already. Restrooms are directly across from this room. There's women's restrooms, and then at the front doors where you arrived, those are gender-inclusive restrooms. We are, of course, live streaming this presentation and recording it. You'll all receive an email link to view the recording afterward, which you can share with anyone who wasn't able to attend, or you can review for anything that we discussed today. If you have any specific questions about your parade entry that are not general in nature, we do ask that you hold those questions and not ask them when we get to the Q&A time later. We will have team members around afterward to answer any specific questions you might have. So we encourage you just to consider general questions that are applicable to other entries about participation in the 2025 parade. And also, hopefully you picked up copies of 2 handouts when you came in, a parade guideline sheet, as well as a map of the assembly area for your reference. I think that's everything. So with that, I would like to introduce our 2025 parade committee chairs, Tim Garrett and Don Melville.
So is this one working too? Give it to her. Hello, everybody. I'm Tim Garrett. I'm one of the co-chairs for the Atlanta Pride Parade. So let's go ahead and kick off. And before we say anything else, the deck that we're about to go through is going to be sent out to all the parade entries. So you will have a copy of this. So no need to take extensive notes or anything or copy it down. So we'll be giving it to you. Okay, next slide. And Don, come over here just so you're in the camera. So this is my co-chair, Don Melville, and we'll be tag teaming through the presentation. Get your mind out of the gutter. So, okay. So we're the co-chairs. Chris has already introduced Glenn Paul Friedman and Chris and Ashley. So next slide. Okay, so we're going to go over like the official policies and the procedures and everything for the parade day, just so that everyone's familiar with that. We're just really kind of setting up, for a successful parade and hopefully answer any questions that you may have. Next slide. Girl. Okay. All right. So you're going to see all sorts of people at the parade site and through the festival that have all sorts of different colorful shirts. So this explains who is who. So if you see somebody in a black shirt, they're event staff, committee, pride staff, board chairs, committee chairs. Somebody, if you've got a question and you see somebody in a black shirt, they should be able to either answer that question or get you to the person who can get you the answer. Blue shirts are lead volunteers. They're experienced volunteers. They should also have a lot of answers to your questions or get you to the right person. Yellow shirts are general volunteers. They may not know the answer to your question, but again, they can point you like, there's Don. He's in a black t-shirt. Go talk to him. Okay. You'll also see gray polo shirts. Those are security personnel with Titan that we have contracted to help us out with crowd control. So that's kind of a general guide to the colors. Real quick about volunteers. If any of y'all have anybody that is interested in volunteering to help out with the parade assembly, you may be interested in doing it. You may have somebody in your group that's interested in doing it. By all means, we welcome it. It's in shifts. The first shift that probably might be most attractive to some of the people in your groups is meet down there at 8 o'clock to help get everybody coordinated, get everybody set up. That shift ends at 11. The parade kicks off at noon. So if you've got, a couple of people in your group that want to help out, show up at 8, sign in to volunteer. They'll get a volunteer t-shirt. They'll help us out with the parade setup. And at 11 o'clock, we'll start to be packing all of our stuff to get ready for the parade to kick off. And they can take off their volunteer t-shirt and go join your group and march in the parade. And everybody has a lot of fun. And we get some wonderful help out of new volunteers. So pass that along if anybody is interested. We welcome it. Okay, next slide. Oh, here we are. So the parade's big. Who's been in the parade before? Good, and thank you for showing up. Okay, y'all know that it's big, it's fun, it's loud, it's controlled chaos. But it works, and it works because y'all are here, you're listening, you're paying attention, and you're following the instructions, and we greatly appreciate that. So thank you very much. Next slide. Okay, one of the things that we have found is helps to make a successful parade for you is that you pass this information along to the people who need it. Okay. The ones sometimes that are less successful, we'll put it that way, are where their group shows up or their driver shows up or their float shows up and they don't have a freaking clue as to where they're supposed to be or what they're supposed to do. And you hate that. Okay. So all of this information that we're giving out to y'all, be sure that you get it to the people who need to know it. The drivers of your vehicle, if you have vehicles, the people that will actually be there, okay, be sure that you pass that on to them. It could be y'all, but it could be, depending on your group, it could be somebody else entirely. Be sure that they have this information, that they understand it, and that you go over it with them so that, they know what to do so that when they get down there, it's, drama light, drama free, and they can go ahead and have a wonderful parade, okay? One of the things that we suggest, this is just our suggestions, but you have somebody that's kind of like the office organizer. That's the in-house contact for your group. That's somebody who knows all this information, who knows they're the person that they can go to get questions answered, things like that. And then your actual event organizer, that's the person who's actually going to be down at the parade site. Okay. Sometimes these are two different people. Sometimes like you may be here and you may be collecting all the information, but you're not able to actually be down at the parade site. You need to be sure to pass this information to the person that's going to be in charge at the actual parade site. Okay. And this could be the same person, who knows? And then if you have a vehicle, your driver. It is very critical that your driver knows all this information because we're going to be asking, depending on what row you're in, we're going to be asking you to show up at a particular time, at a particular location. And if your driver doesn't know that, that's not fun for anybody, especially him or her. All right. So be sure that they've been given all the rules, etc.
Let me add to that, Tim. How many people are hiring a company to do a float for them?
Yes.
So this information needs to go to the people driving your floats. A lot of the float companies are not here in Atlanta, and they get up early in the morning to drive here. If they show up at 7 a.m., there's nowhere for them to go. They're just blocking traffics. So the street doesn't close until 9:15 or 9:30. So please let them know your row number that you will be in as well. But they should not be there early because there's nowhere for them to put their floats.
Very good. Yes. We also ask, if at all possible, if you have a vehicle that you have, we call them wheel monitors. Okay. You've got somebody that marches with your vehicle along a parade route, and they're pretty much like at the four corners or at least one on each side of your vehicle, just to help make sure that nobody runs in front of or under your vehicle. That sounds like, well, God, that's common sense. Nobody would do that. think about that. And then, all right. So just somebody there just to kind of make sure that the people on your float, aren't jumping on and off or doing crazy things like that. And also that people in the crowds or something aren't coming in and just kind of keep them at bay. All right. We will have some volunteers along the parade route that will help with this, but there's only so many volunteers we have. And you're there with your vehicle, so you can help us and help yourself just to make sure that everything's okay with that. Okay. Let's see. Next slide. Okay, so 1 week before the parade, that's Monday, October 6th, 2025. Okay, be sure that you've gone over this training with your group, especially the drivers and your wheel monitors and everybody that's going to be down there. Be sure your vehicle driver knows where to go and when to show up. What Don was just saying is make sure that they understand what row they're supposed to be in, the actual arrival time. Check your email for any notices from Atlanta Pride. It should be, is it still parade at atlantapride.org? Okay, good. That hasn't changed. Okay, and then contact Atlanta Pride if you have any questions. We've also got the Pride website here for any parade or festival updates in case there's anything there. Do be aware that the week before the parade, the Pride staff is going to be down at the park. Okay, so they will get back to you if they can, but if you have any questions, usually try and get them to the office before then. If not, we will try and, somebody will be monitoring the email, but, as far as our response time, we may not be able to respond immediately, but we'll hopefully get to you before the actual day of the parade. Okay, perfectly. Ashley was saying, ideally, if you can just send any sort of questions or emails or communication before Wednesday of that week. All right. Thanks, Ashley. Next. Okay. Do you want to take this?
Again, thanks for all the repeat folks. It's really great to see you again. We keep getting better and better every year. This is my 23rd year volunteering with Pride, and a lot of that has been with the parade. So we appreciate all your patience and suggestions to help us make things go better on Sunday morning. One thing to keep note of, none of the rows have assigned spaces. So if you're in row A, B, C, D, E, F, or K, you're in the row. So your placement in these rows depends on when you arrive. So if you're in row A and you miss your load-in time by an hour, you may not get where you want to be. So everyone is assigned an arrival time. So please pay attention to that and do your best to be on time. Again, if you're not, you may not wind up where you want to be. So you should have already gotten all that information. Vehicle entries, again, is staged. Like I said, there are no more entries of any kind of motor vehicle after 11 a.m. If your driver or your car or what have you shows up after 11 a.m., we will do our best to get you in there, but you will be at the end of the parade. So our walking groups, if you've walked in the past couple of years, if you have walking groups, we group everyone together. So there's a big block party for all the walking folks. A lot of our walking folks wind up at 9 o'clock in the morning going there, and then they stand on the asphalt until step off, and then they're cranky and tired and hungry. So walking groups, 11 a.m. So it's the latest to arrive. So no need for someone to get there at 9 a.m. to come in and hold your spot. So we do merge the rows together. So a lot of people will show up in the walking groups and think that they're at the end of the parade. That's not the case. So you can kind of let people know that when you come in. So yeah.
Let me just clarify something about the walking groups. Okay. So you've got a walking group and you've got 50 people. What Don said, you don't want 50 people showing up like at 9 o'clock and standing in the hot sun when they're about to walk through the parade. And like he said, they get all cranky and everything. But because it is first come, first served for your placement, you probably want a representative to, do we have for FG and H, do we have arrival times, staggered arrival times? Okay, yeah. So have a representative show up at the arrival time, and maybe they've got like a banner or something like that, but just have them save your group's place in the walking group row so that, okay, well, you're at the very start of row F, okay, because your representative got there, but your 30 people aren't going to show up until like about 11 o'clock. So that's fine. Okay. So just at least have your representative show up at the arrival time, and the rest of your group, they just need to get there in, by 11 so that you're all organized and everything. Go for it.
Just to add in, GP reminded me of, if you are a grand marshal or in the political row, you do have a sign. There's a few of you here that I see, and you'll see that information when you get your placement. So, and there'll be someone there to help you get where you need to be. So, rows with vehicles A through E, again, staggered arrival times. If you don't get there before 11 o'clock, you're going to be put at the end of the parade or sent back home. So, if the parade lineup for your group and you're not ready, we do see that a lot. It's a fun time. Everybody's partying. They're gathering around their floats. They may be having a few beverages. And I'm at the front of the parade pointing at you, speaking to you on a megaphone, and you're not paying any attention. We're going to bring the group behind you and bring them all around. And you can sit there as long as you need to get your things together. So
drivers, stay close to your vehicles.
Yeah, a lot of times we run around and the people with the group are looking for the driver because they've gone to the bathroom with the key. So kind of keep that in mind. If you're going to step away close to step off, give somebody the key to your car. Next slide. Driver preparation. DOT will be on site. They will be inspecting vehicles. They will be checking for driver's license. They will be checking for unexpired license plates. And they will confirm that you have insurance to drive that vehicle. So if you have a volunteer that says, I want to drive, and they have no driver's license, pick someone else. So we all know this about our own cars, but just kind of reminders because we get carried away on the morning of the parade. Make sure the cars are working. If you've come to this parade a few years, especially the new electric cars, they come out in the morning and they plug in stereo systems and lights and bubble machines, and they get a quarter of the way through the parade and the battery dies. There are no charging stations for your electric vehicle in the parade. So, but this goes with other cars. A car battery could die really quickly if you're running juice of that. If you're going to have a lot of juice going on your float or in your trailer, that's generator time. So if you're renting a vehicle, we spoke about this earlier, your driver needs to know when they get there. Our float driver folks are the salt of the earth. They probably got up at 2 a.m. to come deliver your float. If they don't have any instructions, they get really, really cranky. So, and then we have to deal with them. So if they're early, tell them the closest place to go get breakfast so they can sit back and relax, and then have them come in on time. So be sure what row you're in and where that is. So you're going to get maps. We're going to show it on the key. So all of our volunteers are happy to point out rows if you have that person in your group that did not check that email. So, but do your best to let everyone know what row they are in, and they'll be able to see you down the street with that. So again, with other vehicles, it must be done before Sunday morning. So walking groups. If you got FGH, you are a walking group. So again, no later than 11 a.m. arrival time. So, but again, that's a designee to hold the space. Just to remember, if you're in the walking group, there are quite a few before you. They are merged in with the rows on the other side of the street, but it is a long time to stand on asphalt. So also make your walking groups, if you're in groups, pack a bag of some like granola bars, bottled water, things like that, because it's really sunny right there. Once you arrive, have a person stay in your spot, and then everyone else can walk away or hang out. If the parade lineup gets to your group and you're not ready to go, again, we'll point to the people next to you. Peachtree Street is located along the parade route. Entrances from the side streets will begin closure at 9 o'clock. So if you're going to kind of cut across the neighborhood and get into the parade route, those streets are closed off very, very early to come in there. We shut down the parade assembly site at 11 a.m. If you've got somebody coming in their personal car with all the giveaways, they won't be able to get in there and drop anything off. We do have designated load in and load out zones for that help, but just know after 11, for the safety of everyone, because it gets really, really crowded, there's no more motor vehicle access unless you're an ambulance. So groups are encouraged to take MARTA. I can't stress this enough. It is the Civic Center MARTA station. It is in the middle of the drop-off zones. We also have porta potties right beside it. So if you traveled a long way, we've got you set up for that. So vehicles used to drop off supplies should come to the loading zone and leave immediately. There's no parking in the assembly area. So it's a little pull up, unload the car, and then go find somewhere to park it. So there are designated drop-offs for each road, and those are going to be on the map so that you can be able to see that. And for people dropping off supplies, 10:30 is the deadline. So if you have a truckload of Mardi Gras beads, that's your deadline. So,
Hey, Don,
yeah.
go back a slide. Go into a little bit more detail about the drop-offs for supplies and the vehicles that drop off supplies and not being allowed in the area because they could be trapped.
Oh, yeah, yeah. We close this out early because there are cases where someone brings in a vehicle, and like I said, the driver runs out to the bathroom and they have their key fob with them, and it's created problems with us because they get stuck on the parade assembly route. We can't have that. So there's just no room for that. So we do have designated areas. We started this last year and it worked out really, really well. So if you've got a lot of stuff coming with a vehicle for your group, those portable wagons are the best invention ever that Amazon came up with. So that you can bring your stuff real easy. You can have people that are at the site come meet you at the load-in zone, but it's unload, go away, park your car, and then towards the park preferably. So just kind of keep that in mind.
If you have, some people don't listen to what Don just said. So if you have a vehicle that shows up at the entrance to the parade with all of your supplies, okay, this is what we want to be sure that everyone is aware of is ideally the drop-off point is at the entrance. They pull to the drop-off point, you get all your supplies off there. It may be a lot of stuff, but it's worth it to stop at the drop-off point and have somebody there with a wagon or something to schlep it, because some people have actually gone into the parade assembly area with the vehicle that is not supposed to be in the parade. It's just like a little pickup truck with supplies. They brought it in there. They've kind of parked off to the side so that everybody can unload it. Okay. And depending on what time they bring it in or whether or not they just lounge about or something like that, all of a sudden there's all sorts of entries filling up around them and that vehicle is trapped. We can't get them out. Okay. And if you've been in the parade before, you know that literally is like, ain't no way we're moving everybody else, 40 different vehicles to get your tiny little Toyota pickup truck out of there. Okay. So, and especially where we get a lot of feedback is where that driver's like, well, I'm supposed to pick up my kid from church, or I'm supposed to be here at 2:00 or something like that. It's like, no, your ass is now in the parade until 4:00. Sorry. Okay. And also when people are like, oh, well, when I go on the parade route, then I guess I can get out. No, remember the slide, 2 slides back, where it's like the entrances to Peachtree Street, the parade route, are blocked off by security. You are not getting out until you get to the very end of the parade, which could be 3 or 4 o'clock. So emphasize this with your people who are dropping off. Use the drop-off point. Okay, that we put it there specifically so that these situations won't happen. Okay, I'll get off my soapbox now. Go ahead.
So by now you can probably tell one of us works face to face with customers and the other one works in a cubicle. What to do on Sunday? I couldn't resist that. Enter the designated area for your assigned parking lane. Only registered vehicles will be allowed in. That goes back to the loading zone and unloading zone. We will have people at the end of the rows checking in your vehicles. If you show it with 2 and you paid for one of them's got to go. So check-in will be done again at the bottom of the rows. If you have questions or need information, we do have a parade information tent in the center of the assembly area. It's the corner of Ivan Allen and West Peachtree. This will also be volunteer check-in for our parade. folks, our parade volunteers, as well as information for vendors. You won't check in there, you can, but you'll typically check in at the bottom of your row, but it's a great place to say, hey, do you know where this group is? So it's right next to the MARTA station too. So please don't arrive before 9:30. Guess what times the streets get closed? 9:15, 9:30. What are you going to do if you arrive before 9:30? The police are going to tell you to move out of the way.
So we do have some arrival times at 9:15. That's why it's like, or the designated arrival time for your row. So look at the email and the information that comes to you for your specific row. Okay. But again, if your arrival time is 10 o'clock or 9:45 or something, don't show up before your arrival time. That makes it a lot easier on the volunteers for everybody that's filtering in.
The parade begins at noon, the stroke of noon. I'm usually up front with the police motorcycles and the dykes on bikes, waving my arms and saying, let's go. So, if there'll be a weight check-in, wait a minute, what is that? Oh, the weight check-in, the weight of the vehicles. So plan ahead, make sure to bring, again, we talked about this before, water, snacks, sunscreen. If it's sunny, you don't realize you're out having fun. And then Monday morning, you go to work and the back of your neck is crispy red. So, and again, there'll be porta potties all over the assembly site to help you out. Again, check your group's row assignment in the email. Again, look at the letter. Then everyone has to be there before 11 a.m. 11 a.m., we cut everything off because we're still putting people in line, and we still have a few people at the check-in line waiting to come in. If you arrive after 11, there's no guarantees. So we may be able to get you in at the end. We probably won't be able to. So just make sure whoever the arrival people are, they kind of know that key. So next, here is the map. So I hate talking about maps. I hate talking about maps.
You want me to?
Sure, you're better map orientated than me. So.
Okay, so
I use computers to get around. So
this is a high level description of the parade assembly area. You'll see the green number 1. That's rows A and B. The entrance is actually at this number 1. So you'll actually be coming down Ted Turner, and we'll give you more detailed instructions in just a little bit more in detailed directions. But you'll come in here and you'll go up to A and B. Number 2 is the entrance to C, D, and E in the yellow up there. 3 is the drop-off zone for rows C, D, and E. The drop-off zone for A and B is actually going to be around here, I believe. Mm-hmm. Okay, good. Thank you. And then you'll see number 4 is the entrance to F, G, and H for the walking groups in the red. 5 is the drop-off for F, G, and H. 6 is the entrance to row J. 7 is the entrance to row K. And then 8 and 9. 8 is the parade information tent. And then the bridge assembly area, that's where, right here, that's where the Dykes on Bikes, the rainbow flag, the rainbow marching band, and then a couple of other entries are going to be there. Again, it'll be on your assignment. 8 right here. This is the information booth. So if you have any questions, or if anybody shows up in your group and they really are kind of clueless and don't know what they're coming, where they're supposed to be or anything like that, just tell them to go to the corner here of Ivan Allen Jr. and West Peachtree, and there will be a big old tent with a sign for saying information, and they can ask questions there.
And if you need to see one of us, Tim stations here, and I station over here. So along with Glenn Paul. So.
Those up at the top. Perfect. Okay. Chris reminded me also when you checked in today that we have these maps right here that also have all the information that I just showed you. It has the parade route. It has the entrances to each of the rows. And is this going out with the parade letters in the assignment? Good answer. Okay. So these are also going out. Oh, okay. They're brand new. So, the hard copy is on the table up there. Please pick one up if you didn't get one. And then also this will be emailed out as well. Okay. Next slide.
Directions are listed here. How many were in the parade last year and drove or walked in? Did anybody see the signs on the big poles? Did you like those signs on the big poles? They will be back. So we will be out there bright and early Saturday morning and setting those up. So that was an addition last year. It really cut down on a lot of confusion. So you can read the entry points here and how to get to the parade setup area. Same thing for A and B coming into town. And there's a bigger scale map of where you want to go with the drop-off areas. The drop-offs are here. So again, this is where you'll drop your supplies and things. They're close to the entrances of the rows. So if you have a vehicle or a truck or what have you going in, they will go on in. They won't have any trouble getting entry. If you're dropping off supplies, then you'll be here at the loading areas that are on the map. So what does that tell you about the vehicle that's going to be in the parade? Try to put your supplies in it. So directions for rows C, D, and E. So these are vehicle groups only. So there's a safety thing. On one side of the street, we have motor vehicles. On the other side of the street, we have pedestrians. So I know it sounds kind of crazy. We started this a couple of years ago because people may have a little too much and hit a pedestrian. I know we've never seen that here in Atlanta. So, but it is a safety procedure. So, and again, we have volunteers at the tip of all the rows. You'll see a team lead there who is going to be in a blue t-shirt, and then you'll see several yellow t-shirt volunteers that help us with getting you in. So. Directions for our walking groups come in. So this is how you get into the walking group area. So this is also easy if you have a large walking group to take MARTA. Me or Chris? If you have a large walking group that's going to come in, again, MARTA comes in really important for that because they just get off the train station and cross the street and they're in the pedestrian zone. So F, G, and H walking groups, directions, map to drop off. So if you're bringing in a carload of folks for the walking groups, here's where you can set those off with the smiley face. Civic Center, MARTA Station. Yeah, somebody said Civic Center. That's the best place. This is how to get onto Road J and the bridge. The bridge is limited to a few entries. Like we said, Dykes on Bikes. You'll find, if you're like, where's Coca-Cola and Delta? They're on the bridge. I know a lot of people like to find that group when they get there. And then street instructions on how to get there. And more directions for driving down. So if you need to get those people who are not using their phones. So Grand Marshal parking, Grand Marshal entries are listed here. So if you are a Grand Marshal, we do provide vehicles for you to sit on the back of and wave at the people. So you should have your instructions or load-in times coming soon to be able to get there. So, and here are the instructions on how to get through.
Hey, Don, something real quick. You made a comment about people using their phones. Okay. GPS, sometimes your Google Maps, Apple Maps, whatever. Okay. That will get you to the area. Remember, roads are closed. Roads are one way or something like that. So please pay attention to the instructions as to how to actually get into the parade assembly area, because Google Maps will most likely take you to a place where all of a sudden there's barricade, and you can't go any further. Okay. So just kind of keep that in mind. The Google Maps will get you to the general area, but follow the signs that we put up, follow the instructions here, and that'll get you to the entrance to each of the rows.
It's a great reminder. Thanks, Tim. And like I was saying earlier, all along the parade route, all the side streets will be closed early. So there'll be no entrance to the parade route. So Grand Marshal Assembly area is here along with the guidelines. Glenn Paul is over this area, so you'll see him as well as myself and a couple of board members there helping our Grand Marshals get in place. In case of emergency, if you are in a vehicle and I don't know, your battery starts to die or the engine starts smoking, or if you have someone with a medical emergency, pull over to the side to allow the other vehicles to get by. Do not call 911 while you're in the parade route. They are already there. We have people that can reach. Grady is on site. We can get an ambulance or a paramedic on a bicycle to you much quicker than 911 can get anything over to you, because again, the streets are closed. So you can flag down anybody at Grady Health, a police officer, a parade volunteer with a radio. Those are black or blue t-shirts. So, they all have radios. So we have direct contact to emergency personnel, and then we can tell them exactly where you are if you have a medical need.
Okay, one thing real quick. Do not call 911. Don said it. Make sure everybody in your group knows this, okay? Because we've got a lot of APD and emergency services there already to handle this. If someone in your group, oh, they faint, I need to call 911. And if they call 911, number one, what are you going to tell them? Okay, where are you located? Well, I'm in the middle of the Atlanta Pride Parade. Okay, well, number one, how is an ambulance going to get there? It's just confusing. Number two, the city has their resources for the rest of the city. That's what 911 is for. We've got our resources down there to handle the parade. So don't call 911. It's just going to create confusion and everything. And again, I'm emphasizing this because make sure the people in your group know this. Okay, you may know it, your driver may know it, 2 or 3 people may know it. Make sure the other 30 people in your group know it as well. Okay, thank you.
And this goes beyond the parade. It's anytime you're on the festival grounds Saturday or Sunday, medical personnel, police, they're all on site. Most of them sign up to come work this event because it's their favorite event of the year. So they're happy to be there and they're happy to help. When the parade begins, again, step off is at noon. If you're at the head of your row, you'll see one of us up front flagging you, so be sure to pay attention. So can you hold to the end, or do you need to ask right now? Okay, great, thank you. So again, follow the parade lead to guide you in. Tim will be at one point, I will be at another point, and then we have a couple of other blue shirt volunteers that'll help you there as well. If you're in the row, follow the person in front of you. Again, if you're not paying attention, the people behind you will come around you. So again, blue shirt, black shirt, may be able to help you with some alternatives. And then as the parade starts, remember, like I said earlier, the drivers should stay with their vehicles. So if they got to go potty, somebody takes the key. So like we said, we'll go around you. So alternating step-offs for rows C's through H. So I love this part. So we started this a few years ago, and it turned out really well, where we put vehicle entries on one side, and then we put the pedestrians on the other side. A common misconception when we started doing that is because the row letters are higher for the pedestrian groups, they think they're at the end of the parade. So A and B goes first, and then we start mixing in the walkers with the vehicles and the floats that are entered in those rows. So you kind of combine together. So we'll be directing people from both sides of the street there, or both sides of the intersection. So it's important to kind of watch what we're doing, because we're merging everyone together. So the actual route, we turn left on Ivan Allen and then head north on Peachtree Street. And then when we get to 10th Street, we hang a right. This is a big population area. It's a real popular place to stand. So there's also a heavy police presence there because of all the people that stand there. We do our best to keep them out of the street, but if you are driving a vehicle, please pay close attention to the pedestrians that are there. So, and then the parade ends at the intersection of Charles Allen and 10th Street, right by the park. Keep things moving. This means there is no stopping in the middle of the parade to perform your show. So, it stops the parade. So
okay, good chair, bad chair. All right. I want to emphasize the hell out of that. Okay. we tell everybody every year, and a lot of you folks, you're kind of like, listen to me, just point fingers, you folks. Okay, a lot of people don't listen to that. They have on their, with their groups, or on their floats, they actually have something that they want to perform. They want to perform a dance routine. They want to get out and do something, okay? But that requires them to stop, okay? So some of the people who complain, well, gosh, the Atlanta Pride Parade is so long. It's like 3 or 4 hours long. Okay, find these people that stop the parade and point at them. Okay, because that's why the parade takes so long, is they'll stop and they'll perform. And we tell all of y'all every single year, don't do it. Okay, this is why. If you can figure out a way to do your routine on a moving vehicle, God love you. Okay, or just while you're keep walking in the parade and keep moving without going slowly, okay, that's great. That's the way to do it, okay? But don't stop to perform, because that will stop and that will slow everybody behind you. The people in front of you will keep moving, so that creates a huge gap and it just becomes a problem. So please take that to heart. Don't do it. All right? Go ahead.
And we do know who the repeaters are on this, who like to clog the parade. So if that's you and you're looking on either side of you and you're wondering why security personnel are walking with you, that's why. So give some space in front. We don't like to do that much here in Atlanta. We like to ride bumpers. So give them about 15 feet. Again, do not stop to perform. Please, your drivers do not drink alcohol. You may be arrested. So there are a lot of police there. Drive straight. So please don't weave in and out of the street. The street looks like it's really wide, but there's pedestrian safety to keep in mind when it comes to that. Be aware of the people on and around your vehicle. You know, be prepared if someone falls off the float so that you don't run over them. And again, watch out for the bystanders. This parade is all for the spectators. There's tens of thousands of people along that parade route. So the safety is all of our concern, and it needs to be yours as well if you're driving one of those vehicles. Be sure you can see the route and the area around your vehicle. Again, make sure that decorations don't block your view. We've seen people put something over the windshield. Here's a tip. I don't know what kind of powers you have, but I can't see through the windshield if there's something covering. That goes for the mirrors to be able to check your whole area. Your drivers are responsible for that. So, and then follow the instructions of the committee chairs, leads, volunteers, and the APD. So, parade rules for the walking participants in vehicles. There's no throwing anything from floats or vehicles. No beads, no candy, nothing. So no gummies. Have the people that are walking along your float, they can go up to the people. Much of the parade has barricades along it for protection. Feel free to go up and hand things to the bystanders, but no throwing them. So no stopping to perform. We keep saying that over and over again. Drive safely. No animals are allowed in the parade. So if you have a service animal, that's of course perfectly fine. And again, be aware of what the people are doing around you. So, and then do not get on top of your vehicles. So no riding on the top of the hood. We've seen it. So we've seen people strike the pose on the hood of a car. And then if they have to slam on brakes, then they're upset because they got scraped up by the asphalt. So
I want to make a comment about the no animals. Okay. And I want to say that mainly because in the past, and it could have been some of your groups, some people have brought animals. Okay. If it's a trained service animal, you know, with the vest and everything, yes, of course, that's allowed. Okay. But if it's just, you know, I'm bringing, you know, Bruno, my pit bull, you know, to walk with me. Okay. You can't do that. Okay. Number one, consider for the animal, okay, it's going to be October, so it's not going to be as beastly hot as July, but it's still going to be hot, and your animal's going to be out there in the sun on the hot asphalt. They're going to be miserable. Okay, you can give them all the water they want, but, you know, just think about it. Your animal's going to be trapped down there for several hours like you are. Do you really want to put it through that? Okay. Also, and more importantly, the parade insurance, okay, this creates a problem, okay? Our insurance is not really going to cover your animal. So if something happens to your animal, that's you. Okay. So, you know, please treat your fur baby the right way and like leave it at home. Okay.
Mine will be a puppy camp. Keep in mind the rule with no pets or animals includes inside the park over the festival weekend. This is not an Atlanta Pride thing. This is a City of Atlanta thing. So, and they will be out for enforcing that, and you will see signs around the park telling you not to do that. So. Testers. So we have them every year. You probably some of the pictures here. These are the Pansy Patrol. We love them. They walk around with giant pansies and they stand in front of the protester groups. Do not engage them. Do not touch them. We know that they are there. The APD knows that they are there. Please don't stop and argue with them. They're doing their thing. Just ignore them and have a good time. Don't let them ruin your day. So by going that. So our judges station is in front of St. Mark's on Peachtree Street. Don't stop. So, but they will be judging your groups as they go by. And then there are 3 categories for the awards: are corporate, small business, and nonprofit. The winners will be announced at the Starlight Cabaret on Sunday night. So, but to keep things so we know who you are, there should be something in your entry that tells us who you are, like a banner or a sign on your vehicle or on your float. So if we don't know who you are, we can't, well, we may judge you, but we so, here's where the judges station is. They also, if you're familiar with going on the route, they give out water just before the judges station. So if you're getting your water, you know where the judges are. So the end of the parade, this is a lot of fun. So, when you get to the end of this parade route, which is Charles Allen and 10th Street, if you are a walker, you're going to turn left into Piedmont Park. So if you are a vehicle, you'll be turning right on Charles Allen and you'll exit the area. If you're a float, you're going to proceed forward to the unloading area. So people will be there to guide you along the way. When you get to the unloading area, it's just to get everyone off of your float and any little bit of tear down you do, and then please leave the park area. So there are the instructions there. And yep, there we go. And it's quick. It's not, I need an hour to take my float apart. So anyone who's walking, again, is going to turn left into the Charles Allen Gate into Piedmont Park. And then, or slightly past the gate. Remember there's barricades now for the bike lanes. So just kind of keep that in mind with your group. Just remind your walking people to follow the signs, and the volunteers and police, they'll get you in there safely. So do not stand in the gate to watch the parade. If you're in the beginning of the parade and you want to go watch the parade, walk on down the sidewalk to be in the parade area. This is, there's a lot of pedestrians entering the parade there. And if you're standing in the sidewalk, it creates a bottleneck and then you have to be dispersed. So let's avoid that if we can. So, what was that last one about children? If you have children or valuables on your vehicle, get them off the vehicle or get them on your vehicle when you get ready to the end of the parade. So when you pass the curb at 10th Street, as you get close to the park, you should be preparing to be able to get off the float and deal with business. So smaller vehicles will turn right on Charles Allen and exit the route. Cars, SUVs, pickup trucks, and etc. with no trailers are included. That Atlanta police will be directing you. So the police department literally stands there and they will point at you because they know you need to go to load off, or they'll point to go down the street to exit the area. So please do what they say. So if you need to unload people from your vehicle, no need to unload people from your vehicle, don't stop. Just keep on going, go to the traffic light and go on your way. And then regardless of your vehicle, again, I already said it, I didn't even read it first. APD is in charge, so let's make sure we do what they say. The floats and larger vehicles are going to go past the Charles Allen intersection where the gate is, and they will have volunteers to put you in a designated space on the street to unload your items. So again, quickly, and then be on your way. So make your vehicle straight so you can exit on the parade route. So if you're in a vehicle with no tags, once you enter the parade grounds, you have to follow City of Atlanta policies and rules. So and again, don't disassemble your your decorations or tear down your float right there. It's really a quick unload the people, secure anything that needs to be secured, and then head on your way. The map is here, so you see the load-in area with the stars here, not the load-in, the unload area with the stars here, so that gives you an idea along 10th Street of where the unloading will be. And have fun. Oh my gosh. Again, this is 23 years for me. I have a ball every year. I have friends that ask me, they're like, why do you keep doing it over and over again and you don't get paid a penny for it? I'm like, it's just my thing. It brings me a lot of joy. We started planning this summer, and it just brings me a lot of happiness. I hope you have that same happiness and you have a good, safe time when you're here at the Pride Parade. It's our pleasure to help put this on for you, and we're so happy to see everyone's pride when we show up.
You have a question.
So if, I understand what would happen for the walkers, but the people who are driving in the parade, what are they supposed to do in the case of, an active shooter event or let's say a protest that gets out of hand, like isn't behind the barricades that they're supposed to be?
Let APD handle that. Okay. The question was what to do if you're a driver of a vehicle and if there is a protester out of hand or an active shooter event. Okay. APD is in charge. Okay. So APD will be passing, they'll be communicating information as quickly as possible to everybody and with instructions of what to do. And like Don said, at the end of the parade, if you see somebody in an APD uniform and they're telling you to do something, do what they tell you to do. Okay. There's a reason for that. Okay. We've never had a situation like that. We don't anticipate it, but that's the best way to handle that situation if it comes up. All right. Any other
And let
general
me just
questions?
add on to that. We're really lucky here in Atlanta that we have a city that really supports diversity and who we are. And the Atlanta Pride Parade and Festival is a big deal for the city of Atlanta. So we get tremendous support. There is security there everywhere to make sure that everything is safe, especially in the climate we're in today. So just remember the policies. If something is happening, make sure to flag someone down. There's security along the route. There are volunteers along the route, will be along the route. So if something were to happen, make sure to flag down the right person. So you had a comment as well.
Hola familia. Me llamo María Elena y me alegro que estamos aquí. Tengo algo que decir. I want to say that, I'm very happy that we're all here. And I wanted to say just 2 points, I think. I was one of 2 grand marshals in 1994. And I was riding on top of one of the cars with the top down, and you never saw so many drunk, stoned, and overly emotional people who wanted to have an experience, like to complete the whole circle for them. And so they grabbed me and tried to hug me. And at some point, I was just like, okay, I can't take any more. Get off of me. Try to be gracious, my other point is that there are exhaust fumes, especially behind the diesels. And so, you may want to hold back a little bit more because you have to breathe that shit in. Okay. That's it. Thanks so much.
So her comment about people coming up and reaching out to you, okay, this is where we learned from all of this. That was back in 94, okay? Back then, we really didn't have the barricades that we do now. So we've got crowd control with the barricades. We've got people walking around because we learned from things like that. Also, as far as the exhaust fumes, that's why we ask you to stay 15 feet in between, especially if you're a walking group behind a vehicle. Good point, okay?
Other questions in the back? Great. Yes. Yes, my company is doing a walking group as well, and I was in a meeting Friday, and they were asking about that, and I said, my advice is find a member of the group who has a wagon that they are about to get rid of, and take it through the parade, and then you don't want to carry it around and find a dumpster and get rid of it. So,
So those of you online who may not have heard the question is that if you're a walking group and you have things that you want to give out, can you have a wagon or something with you to carry your stuff that you can hand out? Yes. The answer is yes. Yeah, for supplies or anything like that,
in the pink here. No, the 1030 is for vehicles. Mhm. And in Piedmont Park. So they're the Arts Center MARTA station and the Midtown MARTA station are right there. Those are going to be your best bet. It's going to be hard for any ride share to get in there, or they're going to charge you $100 for waiting in the traffic. But those two MARTA stations are the ideal part. Or if someone gets there early enough to find a parking space where they pay for it, please, the shopping centers and things will tell you. They can grab MARTA and go down to the parade site. I've seen a lot of people do that, and then meet everyone there, and then they have a vehicle close to the park. So
Also, real quick,
Lindbergh's good too.
real quick,
So.
Don touched on this a little bit earlier, but excuse me. There is, what is it? Is it Jimmy John's or Jason's Deli? Okay. There is a Jason's Deli down there at the parade site. They don't open up, however, until like 10 or 10:30 or something like that. And I think that's the only food place down there, and they are immediately swamped. So if you please bring your own food supplies, please bring your own water or drinks or things like that. I also suggest that you bring a good supply of garbage bags, okay, so that you can go ahead and toss your trash in a garbage bag and take that along with you, because the garbage receptacles down there at the parade site, they start overflowing very quickly. Okay. Who had a question over here? Go ahead.
They'll be with the Gray Marshals. So
Okay. And
yes.
who was down here?
Oh, sorry.
Do you have some advice for how we deal with that? Because we have people, so our trucks that we bring have supplies that need to go, right? So we're always trying to get stuff on the truck as quickly as we can so we can go into. But then there's always that issue. So saying, hey, you gotta keep do, but there is for advice of this you would suggest.
So for those online, the question was his group has a vehicle in the parade. They have supplies on the vehicle that when it gets down to the unloading site at the end of the parade, they need to get those supplies off the vehicle and get it into the park for your booth, or for their booth that they actually have in the marketplace.
Her market over there. So any guidance on that or good suggestions?
Okay, so the marketplace response was that the best thing is the supplies that you need to get into the park, that they're just not on the parade vehicle. Okay, there's a loading process for market that starts at 7 a.m. on Sunday morning. So bring them into the park then. That way, if they're not on your vehicle can go down and can just go ahead and proceed on. So only advice we can say is that as you get close to the end of the parade, okay, like when you're are down Charles Allen, okay, at the tail end of the parade, before you get to the very end where the police are going to be directing things, you start dismantling while your vehicle is moving. Don't stop, but you start dismantling everything and have a wagon or something that you can put it on very quickly and walk into the park. That's probably going to be the best way, but you know, so yeah, just plan accordingly. Okay. Next question. Yes. Question was, can people in walking groups bring electric mobility scooters? The answer is yes. Okay. I don't know what sort of endurance or anything those things have. So just be sure that they're nice and charged up because you don't want to be in the middle of the parade and have that stall out on anybody. Okay. All right. Yes. No. Or let me clarify that. Don't plan on it. I know there's no restrooms available along, the question was along the parade route, are there water stations and restrooms? Restrooms, no. Okay. Use the porta potties or plan accordingly or whatever you need to do. I started to say something that was not.
Get out of the parade.
Anywho, okay. Water, there will be some groups along the parade route, like in front of the Judges Station, St. Mark's Church. They will be handing out water. They traditionally do. But again, don't count on it. Okay. Bring your own water, bring your own supplies, things like that. That's the safest thing. And, to stay hydrated. Okay. I can't see with this in my eyes.
Right here with the jeans jacket. So
Question was, is there any restriction on bag size or backpacks? Nope. Just keep in mind, you've got a backpack with a lot of stuff in it. You're going to be schlepping that all day. So
over here in the gray t-shirt. Mhm. Do you have two separate entries?
okay. So because you have one entry, right? And that one entry has a vehicle. Okay. Your walkers are going to be with your vehicle. Yeah. Okay.
In the back.
All the drivers have to be self-insured.
So it's both, in a situation, it would be, we have insurance for our entire event. We have special event insurance that covers the festival and the parade. At the same time, every individual entry, your insurance also applies to all of your participants. So it's a both and.
Anybody else?
I see any more hands? Tom.
If you're supplying a car to the Grand Marshals, do we have to supply the driver?
No.
Yes,
The
please.
question was if you're a grand marshal and we're supplying a vehicle for you, do you need to supply a driver? And the answer for that is no. The vehicles come with their own drivers.
Okay, that's it. If you have any other specific questions or something, we'll be up here or out there. So please approach us. Okay. And also email parade@atlantapride.org. Thanks everybody. Thanks everybody online. We really appreciate it. Y'all have a wonderful day.